What's up, guys and gals? It is I, once again, Yusuf Al-Sened, and what you just heard right there is a chant from King Arthur, the retelling and more realistic take on King Arthur himself, otherwise known as Artorius Castus, better known as Arthur, a part Briton and part Roman general of the Roman army and head of the Knights of the Round Table and leader to his men, his beloved men and brothers, proud Knights of the Round Table. King Arthur in this movie is not the King Arthur we come to know, the mystified and romanticized version of King Arthur, Arthur Pendragon, because in this movie, this retelling on King Arthur, Artorius Castus, Arthur, the Roman general who was born of a mother who was a Briton and his father who was a Roman, the two of who would fall in love with each other. Out of their marriage and unity came Artorius Castus, Arthur himself, a young boy who would soon become King of Britain and the head of the Knights of the Round Table, his beloved knights. Not only that, but King Arthur wields the Sword of Excalibur, and Excalibur was wielded by King Arthur after he pulled it from the stone, the sacred stone from whence it came, out of love, not hate, for Merlin. Merlin of who is the leader and elder of these people, a tribe of people known as the Woads, and Merlin is not a wizard with a pointy hat and shit, but he is an elder of these people who are very ancient and belong to the same land as Arthur himself and his beloved mother, which means that Arthur himself is part wood, and Arthur is also someone who is so confused and so lost, but Merlin tries to reason with him with the aid of Guinevere. Guinevere of who is not a princess, a damsel in distress, fuck that shit, but Guinevere is a fighter, and of course Guinevere is also a wood and a woman who understands herself better than Arthur understands himself, because Arthur once again is lost and confused and has yet to understand his destiny and his purpose to become king of his people, and with the aid of Merlin and of course Guinevere, who would soon become his beloved wife and queen, Guinevere shall guide him to become the great king of Britain, and alongside him is the Knights of the Round Table, and with him is also his mighty blade Excalibur. And this movie, guys and gals, was so fucking awesome, so epic and so cool, but also so human and so emotionally resonating it was, and without question one of my all-time favorite movies ever made. This movie at times can be cheesy as hell, like the whole but yeah, guys and gals, I mean, this movie can sometimes be so cheesy, but so fucking good, and I love it. And this movie was directed by Antoine Fuqua and was written by David Harold Franzoni, and of course was produced by Jerome, otherwise known as Jerry Leon Bruckheimer. This movie, guys and gals, was so fantastic and has an equally fantastic cast. This cast is so great. Each one of them had played their respective roles so well, they did. And this movie, it centers on Artorius Castus, otherwise known as Arthur, and his beloved knights together must escort a family, in particular a young boy, the son of Marius of who is a friend of the Pope of Rome, and the Pope requires Alecto, the son of Marius, because Alecto is to one day become Pope after the current Pope has deceased, and Alecto, like Arthur, will take on his destiny as Pope. But Alecto, his father, Marius, is very corrupt and uses God's name for his own selfish needs and desires, but Arthur will not have any of it, especially knowing that his men, his beloved knights, their lives are in his hand, and Arthur will do as much as possible well, to ensure that his men, his beloved knights, are granted their freedom and they can go away and return home to Sarmatia, which is what they are, Sarmatian knights. These Sarmatian knights are Arthur's beloved brothers because all of them, in his eyes, they are all equal and no one is better or worse, hence the Knights of the Round Table. And that is so awesome and so cool and so heartfelt, but also something I want to talk more about in later videos, the downfall, eventual downfall of the Knights of the Round Table and the close bonds between Arthur and Guinevere, as well as Arthur and Lancelot. Lancelot, of who is so fascinating and someone I found to be so charming but also complex. He may be a womanizer, but Lancelot is also someone who is the most logical and someone who challenges Arthur at every turn, whether it comes to his faith, Arthur's faith as a Christian and as someone who does believe in Christianity, our Lord. I do find this bond to be so sad but also complex and so heartfelt because these two bicker with each other like brothers and fellow knights of the Round Table, and that is so cool to see. It is, but also Guinevere is someone I found to be equally fascinating, if not more so, than both Arthur and Lancelot, and these three together have an interesting relationship which does not involve love, a love triangle like most stories of the Arthurian legend. And thank God, guys and gals, I am so sick of this love triangle bullshit. Guinevere loves only one man, and that man is Arthur, but Lancelot does share a very emotionally resonating bond with Guinevere, and that is so cool, so unique, so refreshing. It is, guys and gals, especially as someone who does value fidelity and someone who does value strong men and women who love each other individually and not this love triangle bullshit. Arthur, Lancelot, and Guinevere, all three of them are much more than that, much more than love, but love does help them evolve into better and stronger human beings. Damn right, and that I love so much. Men and women who are equals and not one above the other. That is so awesome to see. It is, guys and gals, it is damn right. And this movie, wow, guys and gals, I fucking love it so much. This movie is not just a escort mission, but this movie is also a war film which also has a human heart and soul and something which yours truly loves so much, which is humanity. Humanity behind every characters and individuals regardless of their genders or whatever. Such characters like Artorius Castus, otherwise known as Arthur, Lancelot, Tristan, Gawain, Bors. My god, guys and gals, I love Bors. God, guys and gals, he is my man. Bors is my man, and so is Degane. Degane, who is his brother. Tight brothers they are. These two are the muscles of the Knights of the Round Table. They are, and someone who is a man, a manly man, who does value other men's manliness, my brother's manliness. I love that shit so much, guys and gals. I absolutely do. And of course we have Galahad, Lucan, and Venora. Venora, of who is the lover of Bors. Bors's little flower, and a lovely flower she is, but also a woman who does have a lot of spunk and guts in her, and that is something I love so much in a woman or man. But man, guys and gals, Venora is my kind of woman. She is, but sadly, she belongs to my boy, Bors. And Bors, guys and gals, Bors and Venora have many children, many little bastards, as Bors calls them, because they are indeed bastards, since Bors and Venora have never married each other, but eventually they shall, if he can indeed have her. But sadly, Venora is playing hard to get, and I love that so much, as does my boy, Bors and Venora, just like Arthur and Guinevere. Fuck yeah, guys and gals, fuck yeah. Man, man, guys and gals, this movie will make a man out of you or a woman out of you, but this movie honestly is so good. It's so fucking good and just so awesome. This movie does have some issues which I do admit is laughable and so embarrassing, but this movie is so good and so friggin' great in my honest opinion, and this movie was so well written by David Harold Franzonian and was so well directed by Antoine Fuqua, my man, and this movie as a whole is so good and has many great performances by everyone, including Clive Owen as King Arthur himself, the soon-to-be King Arthur, Artorius Castus, Guinevere, who was played so well by Keira Knightley, Ewan Griffith, who was so great as Lancelot. I love Lancelot so much, and trust me guys and gals, I will go into more details about his bond with Arthur and Guinevere in later videos. I will the other knights of the Round Table, and they include Tristan, Gawain, Galahad, Bors, Dagonet, and Lucan. This video is being filmed a day after my review on this movie, but I forgot to mention to you guys and gals that the OST, otherwise known as the soundtrack to King Arthur, Antoine Fuqua's King Arthur, is so friggin' good. It is, guys and gals. Also, Hugh Dancy plays one of Arthur's knights. I forgot who he is, but I think it's Galahad. And Lucan, by the way, Lucan was not one of Arthur's knights until later on in his life, and that's so cool and so awesome. It is, especially considering that the Knights of the Round Table, each one of them have their own tales and backstories, which is what makes the Arthurian legend so awesome, so diverse, and so vast. But yeah, guys and gals, all of who were played so well by Mads Mikkelsen, Joel Edgerton, Hugh Dancy, Ray Winston, Ray Stevenson, and Ray Stevenson. You guys and gals can see that they rhyme, they do, their names that is, but you also have Johnny Brennan who play their respective characters and Knights of the Round Table. But we also have Stellan Skarsgård and Tilman Schweiger, the two of who play father and son of the Saxon army, the Saxon of who are invading unless Arthur and his beloved knights have something to say about that, and they do. And trust me guys and gals, Artorius Castus, otherwise known as Arthur, can either be a blessing from God, or he could also be a bad omen, the worst of omens, especially for the Saxons, the Saxon father and son duo, Cerdic and Senric, and the son of who I personally found to be so tragic and so sad, but also someone who wishes desperately to be acknowledged by his father who is so cruel and so despicable he is. And guys and gals, I got not much else to say about this movie, except that I do recommend you guys and gals, please do watch this movie. Please do watch Antoine Fuqua's King Arthur, the legit King Arthur, especially the director's cut, the retelling, and much more realistic take on the Arthurian legend, the legend of Arthur and his beloved knights, the Knights of the Round Table. Please do, and thank you guys and gals for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe if you wish, and do check out my gaming channel where I do Let's Play series, gaming content, and so much more. Until next time, peace out, take care, adios amigos, au revoir, and sayonara.